2024 has been an interesting year for me, not only just for gaming, but just as a whole. You know, in your 20s, you're really trying to find yourself, your future, literally everything. I'm never gonna forget this year for good and for bad reasons. Without getting too deep, I'm shocked and happy at where I am at this point of my life. I kind of had to put video games on the back burner for the other priorities in my life, so I didn't really play as much as I thought I did. But that led me to this video that you're watching, all the past videos I made, and all the future videos to come. Because the point being is, I figured out I wanted to be a YouTuber. That sounds really cringy out loud. This is not a review video, by the way. It's more just my thoughts on the game, how my life was going while playing that game, and just a few other things like that. So without boring you any more with this intro, let's start with January.
Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all enrichment center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from
Por favor,
donde fallan. Muchas gracias. Run back. The portal will open in 3.
What a creative puzzle platforming game that has me cackling the whole time. It is so funny. I had to look up the word cackling to make sure that's a real word. Laughing out loud, harsh ways. Harsh way? Cackling? Fuck yeah, we're cackling. I wrote this script throughout the whole year, so I'm not really sure what my thought process was half the time. My description for the Portal gameplay, and I quote, is orange and blue portal, you walk into one and come out the other. We lit. Thank you, January Dre Day. Your description on the game is immaculate. Now, to be fair, I'm not wrong with that description. That is really what you're doing. They do add shapes besides a circle portal. They give you a cube to work with. That also helps change up the gameplay. And there's a lot of movement baits to it too. The gameplay is fresh and new with each level. Like I said, I'm cracking up throughout this game. The writing is so funny. And the cake is a lie. We all knew it. Luckily for them, I hate cake. Except ice cream cake. Fire! I think this is such a great game to start the year. My only complaint to this game is just, it was so short. Once I started really getting invested into the gameplay, it was over. They wanted to kill me already. Overall, solid game though, man. Or hollow game because portals are whatever.
And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
I bought this game at the same time I bought the Portal collection. I don't know why I did that. I don't usually buy 2 games at once. Now, they're both shooters. I mean, you're shooting a portal or you're shooting bullets into a demon. You can't argue with facts. Doom is a great shooter game with non-stop action gameplay until it actually stops. But the highs are high and the lows are low, man. They're just low down there. Meaning when I'm shooting and I'm chainsawing my way through hell and back, listening to that banger soundtrack because I played this game with headphones.
This music hype as hell.
Dude. Hold up. I creamed my pants. When I'm walking around, I have no idea where I'm going, and the platforming is just kind of meh. How can I be this buff Doomslayer dude just lollygagging through a map? I need to be ripping heads off. Punch. I don't know if I should have said that. I'm gonna just blur it out. Now, that could be a skill issue. I can admit it. I'm not the best gamer, but look at this map. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going. Overall, really good game though. I just wish it ended like 3 levels sooner. I felt like it overstayed its welcome. By the end of it, I was like, God damn, bro. You've given me all the guns already. I think I've killed enough demons already. Let me free. But yeah, solid game.
It's been a long time. How have you been?
Oh, peak has arrived. Even more orange and blue portals to walk through, with orange and blue water now, and even white. Yeah, that's definitely come. The writing is even better in this one than the first one. And
Potatoes
is now a potato.
Because I'm a potato.
And she's with you the whole game. I kid you not.
Potatoes
Turned herself into a potato. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. My complaint about the first game about it being too short, they took the pills. And now it's a good length. I need to stop. It makes every level not too difficult or out of reach because you've gained experience from the last one. So it's just balanced so well. It's just textbook level design. I love it. Just perfect example how you don't need an action-packed game with guns. You just need a gun with no action, just puzzles. Fucking great game, dude. I started this year way too strong. I'm crashing after this. It might not get better than this, honestly. I wanted to give a little bit of context before we get to the next few games. I've only played on the Switch since the Switch came out, just for the sake of convenience and portability. For some reason, I didn't want to play on the Switch anymore. I don't know, it just, one day I woke up and I was like, nah, no more. I've had enough. And then I went back to bed. I had an Xbox One X that when I turned it on, it turned right back off. I made a video which you could check out right here, but I decided to fix it. And then I ended up getting Xbox Game Pass. And boy, what a time to be live. Cute writing, cute frog, short game. So not even clocking a full 2 hours, every character is cute, and as the title suggests, you are a frog. That is a detective. Wow, very detective-like of me to figure that one out, huh? You get hired to solve this case about a creepy noise that's going on in their cave in this island. The cave is blocked off, so you go around asking all the suspects on the island's questions, and you trade items for other items, and then you blow up the cave. Once you enter the cave, though, someone has been practicing their dance moves for 7 days straight for the dance competition they're having there. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a dance competition. Competition! All right, you guys get the word I'm trying to say. Please, can we just move on that? Now, I don't know how they didn't die from hunger, but I guess the power of dance is stronger than the power of hunger. I don't make the rules. Just keep on dancing, boys. Case closed, problem solved, let's have a dance party. Now that's epic. What a game, 10 out of 10, best game ever, saved my relationship. Oh my god, this game is incredible. Just kidding, but really good game. Such a great game. Cute frog. I used to own this game as a kid when it first came out. I was 9 and I thought this game was so cool. I'm 25 now and I still think this game is so cool. Sometimes Faith doesn't work properly. I jump towards a pole to grab it and I'm literally dry humping that thing and Faith does not want to grab it, which then makes me plummet to my death. And now that I talked about my death, the death screen to this game is just stress. First of all, it's way too long. Second of all, the noise when she lands is disgusting. Whoever designed that noise deserves a raise, but you're a sicko, man. An actual sicko. The combat in the game is so lackluster, though. I don't know why they added it. You can't tell how much bullets you have in the gun, and Faith doesn't really move around as well when she has the gun. Why is there a gun? Let me just run. Also, the story's a bit generic. Someone set up your sister, so now you gotta figure out who did it and get your sister free. There is one moment I like with the gun. You get into this room with a sniper rifle and you have to wait for the truck to come and shoot it at the right timing. But at the same time, I hated that moment because it took me like 4 tries to actually hit it properly because I don't know, maybe the aim sucks. It's not me, I promise. When you're wall jumping, sliding, and swinging from bar to bar with that incredible music in the background, then that is when the game is at its best. I don't really know how to describe what type of music this is. It gives off this futuristic vibe. I'll play a little piece of it right now. Yeah, that thing smacks. Plus, when you're not in an elevator or just an all-white room, the set pieces are really fun, and I love the highlighting red to indicate where to go. I don't think games really utilize stuff like that very well, so kudos to Mirror's Edge for that. The game kind of ends abruptly. I remember when I was playing it, I didn't even realize I beat the game. So because I wanted to get more of that Mirror's Edge fixation, I ended up immediately hopping into the second game, and it was the worst decision of my life. The way this game feels in comparison to the first game does not feel good. Now, this is not something you can really explain well. It's more like you have to play it yourself to know. So I dropped that thing within an hour. And on top of that, why are we so far in the future? And no, I will not read the comics to find out. This is where things go a little downhill for me as a gamer. Now, I was looking for my next big game. I played a little bit of Ghostwire. I was kind of interested, but then once I actually got into the open world and realized how long this game was going to be, I knew I couldn't commit that much time, so I dropped it immediately. Maybe one day I'll play it. Turtle Shredder's Revenge, I was really excited for when it was first announced, but when I started playing it and realized that the gameplay is actually pretty linear in comparison to games like River City Girls, I got really bored really fast and gave up on that thing super quickly. So I decided to be a speed runner for Mirror's Edge 1 and try all the speed trials. And I really committed to like 2 levels and completed those. But oh man, those 2 alone were a drag to get through. So I just dropped that immediately. Then I hopped to Burnout Paradise, but I'm not really a racing sims fan. Even when the crashes are awesome and the speed is high stake, I got bored of that one pretty fast. I played it for like 2 days. And then the last of this month was Onimusha. I've played this game before. It's another one of my classic favorites. And I grinded pretty far into it until I got to the girl part. And I didn't want to play as her because she was kind of boring in comparison. And I dropped that one immediately too. I'm a feminist. So in March, I did not really play any games. I dabbled in a couple, didn't get far in any. That's gonna happen. I played this around the time it first came out back then, but I had to drop it because I was playing it at my ex-girlfriend's house and I dropped her. So this game screams Dre Day. The top and bottom borders are cropped, there's limited ammunition, and it's an action-adventure horror game. The Screeching Woman boss battle is just obnoxious to hear, bro. She does not shut up. Oh my god, I had to mute that part of the game. And if you want to talk about iconic character designs, the main villain is for the wrong reasons. This man is corny looking, and it's just cringe. After the first few chapters, it just becomes an action-only game. The sun is up, it's bright as hell, man needs to wear some sunglasses, and you got a partner with you the entire time. During those moments, I don't like the game at all. For the longest time, it wasn't really giving you any storyline. I dropped it on chapter 9, which was right when it started giving you story of the game, but there's only 15 chapters, so you wait until the later half of the game to tell me anything about these characters and why I'm fighting. The first few chapters of Evil Within are fantastic. I think they set up the game perfectly. Just for it to go downhill after, it's a real disappointment, so I dropped it at chapter 9.
Henry? Are you there? What happened, Henry?
I got hit in the head. Punched or something by someone.
Are you serious? What the hell is going on out there?
Somebody out here could have just killed me, Delilah.
What the fuck is going on?
This game would have been my game of the year. The game is charming, the writing and the voice acting is amazing, and the details in the game is incredible. You being on the edge of your seat the entire time, and you can't really trust Delilah, but she's the only person you can talk to, and you're figuring out that someone's kind of stalking you. And there's a lot going on that makes it really interesting on what can be happening. Now, I don't know if I had my expectations too high, but to find out it's just a shitty dad that let his son die in a cave, and the dad has just been stalking you to make sure you don't find his son, was kind of a letdown for me. I did sit there to pause for a moment because you see some people throughout the game, but you don't really get close to nobody. For you to see the first person up close is a dead little kid is really sad, especially when you know the whole story of how he got there. The kid dying is not even the worst part. The worst part is we never get to see Delilah. Are you serious, bro? She left before us. She was feeling on us, bro. I don't know what your story was, but she was feeling on me, man. That was the worst part. Man, get out of here. Big, burly men. I was playing the story mode with Rose. The controls are a bit dated, and they're just really heavy and slow and stiff. So all of that took a little bit to get used to. The writing is pretty bad. They're just talking mad shit to each other the whole game.
Turn that shit off.
And the story is they have to keep on going. There's a moment where they thought they finished the game and you kind of get this impression for them to just get up and do the next mission. I would kill myself if I was one of them. They don't get to eat or piss. Actually, they probably piss in their suits. No, I'm sorry. That Iron Man scene? It is the story mode to an online shooter game, so I'm really not going to bash it that bad. The reloading and chainsawing people are just so satisfying, and we just had a blast the whole time. Now it sucks because I actually had to cut my game pass off. Rose and I were legit at the final boss, and I had to cut it short. She hated me for that, never spoke to me since. Rose, please talk to me again, I miss you. Alpha Team! Shit yeah! Wow. I just need one shot, man, before I fucking record, bro. In March, I was looking for my next game, but in May, I actually needed to put games to the side because I had other priorities. To give you the idea how Evil Within, I gave up on it because I just got really tired. I played Dishonored 2 because I'm a fan of Dishonored 1, and I didn't play as much as I wanted to for long periods of time, which then resulted in me like getting lost or confused or not even sure what I was doing half the time when I would play. You would think like, oh, maybe I can squeeze in 10 minutes here and there, but squeezing in 10 minutes every 2 days, you kind of get lost of what you were doing. And it's just like a JRPG, you're just gonna give up because you can't play it mid-game. Also, at the same time, I was starting to sell my games off. At this point, I guess you could say I was going through a quarter-life crisis. I don't know, I saw a whole bunch of stuff I own and I was like, I just gotta get rid of it all right now. Do I regret it? Not too much, because I could always buy everything back. Material items are just material. You can't take them to the grave. But with that, I had to figure out what to play next. I needed it to be portable, accessible, and easy to pick up and play for a few minutes. I have my PS Vita. I named her Vanessa, and I've loved Vanessa since I've had her, which was the day one she came out. Now, I know not everybody agrees with me on that, but recently the PS Vita mod community has been doing excellent work with it. So I was like, oh, perfect. I'll keep my PS Vita, mod it, and put some games that I want. Do you know, it took me 2 weeks to figure out what to play. And I happened to play a game that I used to play. The game I chose that took 2 weeks to pick was Megaman Powered Up from the PSP. An excellent Mega Man game. I used to love this game as a kid, man. There's 2 different game difficulties, and I did play this on the normal mode, and I did feel like it was really easy. This is Mega Man X where you can store more life. So I just damage boost the entire levels, and got to the boss, didn't really understand the rhythm of the boss, and still defeated it first try. I guess because of the art style, it's meant for kids, so they made it kid-friendly. Besides Yellow Devil, though, that guy, man. Yellow Devil is obnoxious for no reason, bro. It's not even a skill thing, it's just patience. So that made me feel good. I had a portable game that I could pick up and play whenever I wanted, and defeat it super quickly. It gave me this sense of accomplishment. Young Dre, when he found out that you could kill all the bosses with your buster and then you can play as them, blew his mind. You could play as the villains. Oil Man is cool. Oil Man is the pinnacle of swag. After defeating the whole game and collecting all the characters you can play as, every character will then get a challenge mode. There's about 12 challenges for each character. It's like Mirror's Edge speedrunning, but for challenge mode for Mega Man. Sign me up. Where do I give my soul for that? That's sick. I think I completed all of Oil Man, or at least did most of it and gave up. And then I did Mega Man, and I was like, all right, I'm not having fun anymore because this is way too difficult. Even with me dropping the challenge mode, this is a great Mega Man game. I wish all Mega Man games from here on out was like that. They put so much love and care into this game that you can tell playing it. It's definitely a game worth playing if you haven't played it. Let's go. I think that was the first shot I made recording. You know, it only took like fucking 30 minutes, and now there's a dude backing up, and now I'm about to be nervous. So I played this one with Rose. Dude, why did I drop this game like a few years back? I remember hating this game back then. I don't know what was my reasoning for hating it, but I remember just being so upset with it. Now, is it the greatest Borderlands game ever made? No, definitely not. When I was selling my games, like I mentioned earlier, I actually came across this one. It was just stored in a bin somewhere. I guess I was that upset I just hid it from the world. Once we started playing it, dude, why did we drop it? We had a blast playing this game. The Calypso twins are annoying. We all know this already. I felt like there could have been a better dynamic between the brother and the sister. There was one point where I felt like the brother was going to take over the sister or something like that, and I thought that would be really interesting, but they just kind of dropped that. We got so addicted to this game to the point where we had to make the hardest decision in our life that we would ever have to make. We get home from work and we decide between 2 options of what to do for the day. We either play Borderlands 3 or watch the greatest show that ever touched the screen, 16. What a time to be alive to decide which one you want to do, 16 or Borderlands 3. Most of the times we did pick 16, bro. 16 is peak. I always love the humor in Borderlands. I do think it is a bit corny, but Borderlands 3, they just took Borderlands 2 humor and multiplied it by cringe. So I do hope in Borderlands 4 they learn from that and they make it a little more interesting and serious. The looting in Borderlands 3 is fun, but I do feel like every time I killed an enemy, they just kept dropping legendary weapons. I take legendary weapons really seriously because in Borderlands 2 it was really hard to come across. Even in Borderlands 1 you didn't really get them that often. So in Borderlands 3 they just spit them out like a candy machine. I wasn't liking that, especially because the entire game I was under level. And it did not feel like I was under level. I was just running through these enemies because I had so many legendary guns and grenades that it made me feel overpowered, but I was under level. That's not good game design. You have to make me work for it. Don't hold my hand. I'm a big boy. Now don't get me wrong, the guns were fun to use. At one point, I got a Doomslayer shotgun. Every time I shoot the shotgun, it sounds like a noise from the Doom soundtrack. That is awesome. The gameplay is fun, but everything surrounding the gameplay really wasn't. So yeah, we burned through that game pretty fast, but not as fast as 16. But we're definitely gonna come back because I see there's a whole DLC pass. I don't know if it's worth it, let me know in the comments, but we definitely gotta come back to play that. Or wait until Borderlands 4 comes out, either or. So the funny story about this one is I had the intention of buying this game on the Wii because it was only on the Wii at this point. And the second I bought it, 2 days later, Nintendo dropped a direct and they announced that they're going to put that game on the Switch with more levels. They knew I was buying it. Fantastic platformer. I don't like the controls though, in the sense of you having to shake the remote to roll. Sometimes it did not work. I would shake the remote and I wouldn't go anywhere and somehow it would end up killing me. Now to be fair, that problem never happened to Rose, so I guess skill issue. I don't know. I'm definitely better than her though. Don't tell her that. Tropical Freeze is 100% better. It builds upon Donkey Kong Country Return and with more game design and gameplay. But I understand why Returns is the way it is. So this game took us a while to actually beat. I'll mention it later on when we do beat it. But this game is in the background of all the games I'm playing.
It's done. Gotham is safe. Thank you, Bruce, for everything. Goodbye, Jim.
Too much car, man. Oh my God, bro. They forced that thing down your throat, bro. I don't want to use Batman's car. It seemed like a cool idea at first, but it's just so much of it. The story, though, in Arkham Knight is, in my opinion, probably the best one. Besides Arkham Knight himself being very obvious by the end of the game who he is, I love this whole concept that Batman genuinely has no chance of winning. He is on the edge of death throughout this entire night, and just Joker obnoxiously on him the entire game, which is probably the best thing about all 3 games that come out. I love Joker just harassing you throughout that game. And I feel like he should have been there even more. So it's upsetting when you do finally beat the game and he's just gone. It's kind of this toxic romance of even though he's gone and you know he abused you, you still want him back. Scarecrow being the main villain didn't seem like it'd be the good choice, but with his fear toxic and everything, he did a great job at that. Why do they force the car so much on you? The car blows up, gets destroyed. And I'm like, oh yeah, no more car. Batman's like, I made a spare. My guy. Besides the car itself, the gameplay's fun. I almost 100%ed this game. I completed everything else except all the Riddle trophies. So Riddler is stuck at the bottom of his basement waiting for me like a basement dweller that he is. While he waits, I activated Protocol Nightfall, blew myself up, and we are dead now. Arkham Knight is a pretty decent game that has some mechanics that are a bit obnoxious and other mechanics that are done so well. And the story mode is fantastic, but it's a bit of a drag to try to 100% it. September was not my month in more ways than one. And I mean, nothing was interesting me. No video games, no anime, no manga, no basketball. Nothing was grabbing my attention this month. I did not want to do anything. I'm not really sure what I did that month. It was like to the point where I actually just did not want to play video games. And that video that everybody I feel like comes across if you're a gamer on YouTube, that video games were not fun anymore because nothing was interesting me. The fact that I had nothing of interest in that month meant that I literally was just pacing back and forth in my room the entire time. I was actually questioning whether or not I liked video games still at this point, and if it was just me growing out of video games. Now, I'll get back to that in a little bit later. I would play games, or I'd work out, or I'd play basketball, and it's just like I didn't feel anything. There's only 2 games I attempted to play this month. Persona 5, which I was in the middle of it. And again, if you ever play a JRPG, you don't start in the middle of the game because you're not going to know what's going on and you'll drop it again. And that's exactly what happened. So I did not get far in Persona 5. And then I played Mega Man X4 and I ran through about 4 out of 8 of the bosses, no problem. and then I dropped that too. I don't know what was going on, but hearing me talk about all of this out loud right now, damn, that sounds depressing. Throughout this month, I kept going to GameStop. Gross, I know, but I wanted to find a game that would interest me. I would go into GameStop, look in the Switch and the Xbox section, see what would grab my attention, and it would never work. It took me 7 GameStop attempts for the 7th one to finally walk in and pull out The Witcher from some random section of the Xbox. I don't know how I pulled that one out. Realized it was less than 10 bucks and just bought it immediately, because that has been on my wish list of games to play. Which you would think would lead to hope, because boom, I found the game that's on my wish list. Is a big game, but let's find out what actually happens. First, let me mention that, okay, yes, this video took so long that I became bald, yes. Rose and I beat Donkey Kong Country Return. We were planning on 100%ing it, but it's such a drag, so we're not going to do that anymore. The reason I held off on The Witcher for this long, it's a long game, and the premise of this whole video, I don't have enough time. Of course I had to commit though. I'm a huge fan of the show that came out on Netflix. So this game has a lot of dialogue, and all of it's actually voice acted, or at least majority of it. Being a Nintendo fanboy, that blew my mind. I was not expecting that. It's really amazing to go to each person and each person having something to actually say and not have to read it. Again, being a Nintendo fanboy, I don't think I've seen boobs and butt in a video game in a very long time. To give you perspective, I haven't seen that in a video game since Heavy Rain first came out. But that showed that I don't play enough mature games. 25-year-old still playing with Nintendo games, baby. Dude, stop! And me being a 25-year-old grown man, maybe the Nintendo games aren't the only games to live by anymore. But don't worry, that will change. I'm saving up for a Steam Deck. And when the Steam Deck does come, y'all better watch out. That's all I'm saying. The Witcher is a beautiful game that has aged better than the finest wines you've tasted. The world itself is just so easily able to get invested into. The enemies are all disgusting, and that's exactly why I love them. With being able to get all the details of each enemy you approach and how to attack them to become a better Witcher yourself. And you could definitely tell that the people at CD Projekt Red had a very fun time making those characters. I played this game on hard mode, so I died a little bit more than I prefer. It forced me to learn their habits and looking up their weaknesses, which actually made me feel like a real-life Witcher because I prepared myself for these battles. A great example is the first boss, the tutorial boss, and it puts in perspective how if you're not prepared for a battle, you will get your ass whooped. And it's a great way to teach you what to expect for the rest of the game. I know I'm like years late, but I completely understand why this game won Game of the Year when it did. But now here's where the problem comes in for me. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, I got really busy at this point. And I kind of stopped playing it for about 5 to 6 days. And even while playing The Witcher, I was always getting my ass kicked. So it was a bit discouraging to want to hop back in and reteach myself and remove the rust. So in results, I stopped playing The Witcher. I really didn't get that far. This is my problem. I'm way too scared to invest so much time into a game. And when I do, I feel bad because I just wasted all my time playing a video game. I hate being an adult. I was really getting upset with not having any interest in any games or not even completing games anymore. I like to complete games. When I was younger, I would 100% games, like achievements and all. So I had to do some research. I had to make sure that I'm gonna get the perfect game curated for me, that I will pick up this game and not put it down. So the hunt was on. We scoured the internet, searching for the next game that we could find. Something unique, something different that we might not have played before. Some type of gameplay that is different than what I'm used to. I gathered a list and then I chopped that list down to 3 games. The final decision wasn't my choice. I showed all 3 games to Rose and she picked what she thought what I would like. My girl knows a thing or two. Woohoo! Let me tell you right now, guys. If I wasn't sure I was still a gamer before, I'm still a gamer now. Potionomics is the most unique game I've ever played. You are running a potion store, so you have to focus on making money, making potions. There's a little bit of romance on the side, a little bit of kinkiness. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the first thing that caught my eye in this game is the art style. I don't think I've ever played another game that looked like this either. The writing isn't my favorite. I think it could have been a little better, especially when that's kind of half the game. But it has its moments. So after 10 days, you have to compete in a tournament because you're trying to make the money to pay off the debt that your uncle owed from owning that shop prior to you. You have to use your time very wisely for the 10 days before the tournament. And when you sell these potions, you're bargaining. In order to bargain, you play with a deck of cards, and these cards you use to either gain interest from them, block their stress from you, and so forth. You're playing a visual romance novel, management game, Yu-Gi-Oh card game, all in once. That is peak right there. I legit fell in love with this game. I started binging it. Such a unique game that has finally piqued my interest in gaming again. You know, throughout this whole year, a lot has happened. And for a lot of people, a lot has happened. And for the gaming industry, a lot has happened. Watching the Game Awards that just passed, most of those games I didn't even play. Does that make me any less of a gamer? No, actually. You can be into retro games. You can be into games that are very niche. You can be into one genre of games. But it's like, as long as you're enjoying your games, then you're still a gamer. Shout out to all the Candy Crush players, bro. Y'all are the hardest gamers I've ever met. I like the way this year concluded for me. You know, I mentioned how I was really nervous about not being a gamer anymore and not liking video games. Just like that video I mentioned, gaming isn't fun anymore. It really might just be you haven't found the game, or you might just need to take a break. Whatever the case may be, just because you paused for a minute doesn't make you a gamer anymore. You're just a gamer that took a break. The point I'm making, because I didn't mean to get too gushy or whatever. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm not going to forget this year. And I appreciate where I am at this moment. I hope you guys stick around because I'm not going anywhere. I really do keep planning on making more YouTube videos. This is it right here for me. It's this or nothing. Thank you guys for watching. Every day is our day. And I will definitely see you in the next video.